What's the went through med school just to realize you couldn't stand the sight of blood of your job field? Had a teacher in my nautical academy that found out he was chronically seasick. When I get really angry enough to feel an adrenaline spike, I have trouble speaking. Every word is a legit physical and emotional struggle to produce, and it all comes out in a low, growly voice. I'm a lawyer. I'm now imagining Batman practicing law. The evidence, where is it? Bailiff, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Witness, I do. Bad lawyer, swear to me. I'm in law school and recently realized that I hate reading boring shit. It's going great. Got a master's in engineering to realize I hate sitting at a desk all day. Software engineer, I feel you. Went to school for firefighting. Had a classmate drop out because he was afraid of heights. I went to massage school with a girl who realized she didn't want to touch people for a living. Sound engineer, I'm sensitive to loud noises, should have thought that one through. Went through the PhD process just to realize it's not at all like science classes in college, only harder. It's about doing original research, which college classes and even most undergrad research experiences don't accurately emulate or prepare you for. It turns out that the skill sets to be a high achieving science student and to be a research scientist have surprisingly little overlap. My brother-in-law went through seminary and got a job as a youth pastor, only to find he absolutely could not speak in public. He does construction now. I mean, one of the best pastors in the world was a carpenter. My friend applied to be in the RAF, failed the medical because he is colorblind. This was the first he knew about it. He was 21. My brother learned he was colorblind at 20 joining the Marines. We laughed at him, but then I decided to get tested and found out I was colorblind as well, lol. Many people become a lawyer only to discover they hate practicing law because they didn't really understand what that meant when they went to law school. Law is very boring. Involves a lot of rote work which has little practical effect on a case and is ultimately soul-sucking. Being a lawyer involves very little grandstanding in courtroom. Many lawyers never do that. Even trial lawyers, like you see on TV, only get a couple trials a year at best and some go years between trials. The only kinds of lawyers in court every day are criminal attorneys. Started my own freelance business, then realized I hate people. I hate kissing ass and I hate stressing about clients paying on time. Spend years learning about electricity and circuit design only to discover you are colorblind and can't determine which wire is which. I had nightmares in college about failing lab finals because I had been afflicted with spontaneous colorblindness. I work in a pathology/bacteriology lab, so basically if you're at all squeamish, you've got no chance. I took swabs from a chunk of necrotic tissue on my second day, and I'll never look at fried mushrooms the same way again. I was in a physiology class once where in the first week we had to eat sandwiches while standing around an open corpse because the teacher didn't want us wasting time and money on the class if we were squeamish. Going to film school, then working on a real set, learning the hierarchy and the unions, many moving pieces, and politics really makes you start to hate the industry and really turns you off. Ask a person in film and TV production, how long have you been working in the industry? Most people's response, too long. Has anyone said chef afraid of knives? Chef afraid of knives here. A little fear is probably healthy, or is it too much? For a while it got paralyzing. I'm slowly getting over it, but I still can see blood sometimes when I'm doing some knife work. If you're seeing blood, you're probably using the knife wrong. Human resources. Went through school to realize I couldn't lay someone off. Honestly, terminations for cause are pretty bad, but at least they did something to cause it. I'm talking about downsizing. Graphic design. You design for clients, not yourself. You don't get to have a bunch of fun making goofy shit you like. I was dead set on being a video game developer. Started in QA, saw the endless hours of crunch, the devs working 80+ hour weeks without showers or shaving, smelled the funk of hundreds of unwashed bodies, the crossed fingers at reaching publisher milestones for bonuses that would hopefully make it all worthwhile, and the constant fear that they wouldn't get picked up for the next project so they could keep getting paid and keep making mortgage payments. Decided that I'd rather be in systems in lieu of development and never looked back. Got a master's in psychology. Don't like people. What a bunch of bastards. Teaching writing in college because I really enjoy writing, even academic writing. Turns out I hate reading shit though, and that's all the job is. I teach English to kids aged 3 to 9 in China. I can't tell you how many people I've met while teaching abroad that either can't stand kids and or constantly complain about how the country is so different from their own, considering being able to handle children and adapt to new surroundings are two of the biggest requirements to do the job. Major in journalism. I'm antisocial and I live under a rock. I own an in-home child care. I hate germs, budgers, poop and messes. Spent a lot of time honing my voice and manner skills because I seem to have a talent for customer service. The only problem is I figured out that I hate people in general. Customer service will do that to anyone. Some people just lose every ounce of decency when facing customer service. Being a mover, we would frequently go through new hires that can't hang. You would laugh at how many times we've walked into a house and the new guy goes, "We have to move all of this." And I'd go, "Yay," twice. Or when a customer asks to move one thing again because they found a new spot, or there is a couch at the new place to move, I see people just get disheartened and annoyed. Bitch, that's our job. You are here to move people's things until they do not need you to move their things anymore. You are also getting paid by the hour, so SGFU. Moving attracts some amazingly hard-working and kind people, and also bottom of the barrel degens. Every day is interesting, lol. Going to school for vet nursing or veterinary med and then realizing you are scared of certain animals like mice or rats. Aerospace engineers who don't want to make military tools. Hey, what do you do? I'm an aerospace engineer. Oh wow, that's amazing. Do you work for SpaceX? Do you want to work for NASA? You must work on some amazing stuff. As opposed to, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a military defense contractor. Oh, I'd shake your hand, but would that be like buying a blood diamond or something? Taking computer science classes so I could be a programmer. I never really had issues with dyslexia that much until I had to take college level math. After 3 years of repeated failing algebra, I was like, this is just turning out to be a big waste of time and money. I had to give up on my dream job. I work for a newsfeed. We had to boot one person who seemed to have emotional issues with doing AP style headlines for some reason. Got a prestigious degree in finance and economics. Realized I sincerely hate the type of people who work in IB/finance. Bartending. Going through years and years of being hazed by co-workers and regulars, constantly being given the shittiest job, sometimes literally in the entire bar. All the back pain from stocking heavy ass shit. Being the last one to leave almost every night. All that just to find out you don't like dealing with people at all, especially when they are drunk. That or you're sober, which I've seen a couple times and just seems awful. I like playing video games and Facebook, and I'm sick of my parents telling me to stop playing computers, so I'm going to study computer science. Our CS graduating class was about 25% the size of the freshman class thanks to these people. I did some further education in order to manage offshore structures, but now I have a real moral issue with how the rich can afford to avoid tax, even though they had the money to pay tax, whereas the poor struggle to make ends meet and have no way to avoid tax. Go into finance only to find out you have ethics. I have no idea how half of the PhDs even got their PhDs, being as incompetent as they are. I got a PhD doing biomedical research. When I got to my postdoc, I had to conduct animal studies, which involved sacrificing rodents to harvest tissue. I couldn't do it. I refused to do it. Other investigators would have a good laugh at my expense. Both my grad and postdoc advisors said I'd have to get over this animal rights attitude if I wanted to be a scientist in this field. But the joke's on them. I now have my own research lab that specializes in developing non-invasive biomedical research techniques to reduce the need for animal studies. Results we find are more consistent and relevant to humans, which should lead to a better chance of drugs studied with these techniques successfully making it to and through human trials. I hate the feeling of not being in control of an aircraft and get nervous when flying in jets as a passenger. I'm also a pilot. I work in auto and home insurance sales. No rule bending. No giving in to customers. Everything is meticulous. Every client is acting suspicious, which is totally not me. I'm a creative person who loves to paint and play music. I always try to do my best to make people happy. I worked in customer service for many years, so I'm still trying to break that customer is always right mentality, and I trust people / am a little bit naive towards people at times. I also break out in tears if people yell at me over things that are not my fault, which is about 80% of my phone calls at work. My mom worries that I'm stressing myself into an early grave with this job. Went to art school just to realize I couldn't stand not eating. Went through a physics major to realize I don't want to work at a tech company. You have been visited by the smart studying doggo. You'll be blessed with good grades only if you subscribe to Comment Awards and like the video. PG! On top, food chain won't stop. New game. Hot box that blue haze. One lock, 2 chains. No bras, 2 babes. Mic drop. New stage. Lights in my rear view. 5 cops. Food race. Faster than a Tesla. They say I'm exhausted.